Guys all set? Okay, awesome. Well, I'm gonna try to, I'm very blessed. I get invited to come out and share words and share comments with a lot of different people, and I get invited to do radio and TV and all these different things where I get to share my opinion with a lot of different people. But I'm very excited to be here with you all this evening. And the reason why I say that is it's a lot of times it's easy to jump on stage and you got 200 people out there, or it's easy to jump on the radio and talk about what's going on. But I really like this sort of small, informal kind of group. And hopefully within the next 30 or 45 minutes, I'll say something pretty intelligent that will fall on good ground inside of your minds, and hopefully to grow roots, and you guys will go out and produce some good fruit based on that. And I'm going to make sure I do save some time towards the end. I've been doing this enough to know that I may say a lot of good things in about 30 minutes, but I may never say something that touches you. And so I do want to make sure we save some time towards the end for you guys to ask questions, or any of you guys, not just the young folks. But so to tell you, I guess say a little bit about myself. How many people are familiar with investment banking? All right, okay. Go ahead and take a shot at it. Tell me, when you hear the word investment banking, what's that mean to you?
Pretty much you have clients that pretty much you go out there and market and stuff that you pretty much invest for them.
Yeah, so you're raising capital and then going out and reinvesting that capital or investing into different kinds of businesses. So that's what I do. I'm an investment banker. All right. So I'm going to ask a different question. How many people you say you like basketball, right? How many people want to be like Michael Jordan when you grow up? Yeah, some hands normally come up. What about, let me see, who's another one that they really, really like? What about LeBron James? Nobody likes LeBron James? No, you like LeBron James. Okay, what about you? No? Not you? You like, okay, so all right, so I should have said a different person. Let me ask you guys this question. What do you think, when you think about Michael Jordan, greatest basketball player of all time, what do you think his net worth is? Anybody?
Several billion.
Several billion? Okay, that's one guess. What about you? Michael Jordan's net worth?
I think maybe close to about 500.
500 million? 500 million, several billion? You got the bull shirt on, so you got to know the answer, right? What's his net worth? No? No idea? Okay, before I answer the question, I'm going to ask you a different question, okay? How many people have heard of Warren Buffett? You heard of Warren Buffett? No? Some of you have? Okay. All right, you know what Warren Buffett does? No? But you heard of him. All right, he's basically like an investment banker. Goes out and raises capital, buys companies, buys into real estate, does those kind of things, okay? All right, so we all heard of Michael Jordan, right? Michael Jordan's net worth is $650 million. You're pretty close. A lot of people think it's several billion, but making $1 billion is pretty difficult to do. Even Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time, hasn't been able to reach that milestone. If you are a LeBron James fan, LeBron James' net worth is about $400 million, so he's not quite there where Jordan is. But the gentleman I told you about just a moment ago, Warren Buffett, anybody have any idea what he's worth? Try $60 billion. $60 billion. Not 6, but 60. Okay? Warren Buffett and my grandfather was born in the same year. The same exact year. But they certainly didn't live the same life because they both made different choices along the way. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. And I know a lot of times, especially as young folks, we get very excited and we get attracted to a lot of these sports stars and the entertainers and those kind of folks, and that's certainly a great industry. But I want you guys to start thinking even more expansive than that. There's a lot of people out there that are doing things that you probably never heard of, that are actually just probably worth even more than some of the people that you watch on TV and the games that you go to and that kind of thing. So I want to talk about, when I talked to Bailey and he asked me to come over and speak today, he really wanted me to talk a little bit about my philosophy for how you go out and be successful. I heard you talk about some of the things that you want to do with politics. Politics is a big passion of mine too. Business is a huge passion, and I think Dr. Burton will tell you that. Business is a huge passion of mine, but I love politics as well. But I think no matter what you want to do in life, even if you want to go play basketball in life, you want to be a great star, and I think you'll be able to do that. Or if you want to go run for office, There's some key things that you're going to have in order to be successful. No matter what. I don't care what it is you may want to do. Okay? So before I tell you, y'all want to know those 3 things? Those key things? You do? Okay. That's what I'm going to talk about. Before I do that, I do want to ask, what are y'all thinking about doing? What do you think about doing when you get older? If you don't know the answer to, that's fine, but I'm just curious.
Playing NFL.
Playing NFL? Okay.
I just want to be able to do a bunch of different trades. I want to be skilled in multiple trades.
Okay. You want to be an entrepreneur and you want to have a diversified set of skills, go out and do a lot of different things. I'm a history guy too, man. I love sitting around watching old historical documentaries and reading about history. I fundamentally believe that history tends to repeat itself. And if you study history, you'll make better choices based on what's happened. So I think that's great. I know what you want to do. You want to be president of the United States. What about you? What about you, Jabbar? What do you want to do?
Play basketball.
Play basketball. We got an NFL star and a basketball star. Y'all can give you some tickets. Huh? All right. What about you? You don't know yet? That's fine. That's fine, and that's an acceptable answer. That I don't know. Sometimes, I'm going to tell you, sometimes people don't know what they want to do, and because they don't know the answer, they make up an answer. And then they end up doing something for the rest of their life that they've never really ever wanted to do. So the fact that you don't know, that's a good answer. And that means that you just need to be thinking and watching and studying and finding mentors and different people that are doing what you already want to do. And then you'll figure that out. So that's a good answer. What about you? Darian, right? We talked for, is it Darian? Darian, okay. We talked for a little bit. What do you want to do when you get older?
Be a surgeon doctor.
Oh yeah, that's right. You said you want to go to the medical field. What about you, little man?
Play guitar.
Play guitar. You know how to play guitar now? Okay. Awesome. Well, I'm going to tell you guys, when I was growing up, I never knew I wanted to be an investment banker. I didn't know anything about it. Never heard of it. I'll tell you a little bit about how I grew up towards the end of my commentary, but I'll tell you this. We didn't grow up in my house talking about business. And we didn't grow up in my house talking about finance. And you young folks won't know what this is. Some of you older guys will know this when I said it. But the only reason why we had the Wall Street Journal in our house was because my grandmother played the numbers. That was the only reason. We weren't tracking those stocks. Okay, we weren't making no money. We were making money, but we weren't tracking no stocks. My grandma played the numbers. The only reason why I even knew what the Wall Street Journal looked like growing up. So I never knew exactly what I wanted to do. But I ended up getting around some people. And by being around those people, I started seeing what they were doing. And it was through seeing other people doing what they were doing, I believed and firmly believed that I could do those same things. Okay? So I believe everybody in here can do whatever they put their minds to if you're willing to commit yourself. And there's 3 things that you're going to have to do in order to be successful, no matter what it is, okay? I'm going to tell you what those 3 things are. Before I tell you what those 3 things are, I want to tell you this. No matter what you want to do, whether you want to play an NFL, a basketball star, or you can be president of the United States, you will have to work hard. You will have to work hard. I was hanging out with somebody last night and asked her, and I said, well, what do you want to do when you get a little older to be able to get out and build wealth? And she says, I just want some easy cash. I want free cash, easy money. There is no easy money. I'm telling you guys, that many have gone before you, seeking and trying to discover it, but it does not exist. You got to work hard. And I don't care what it is you do, you're just going to have to get out there and work hard. All right? I think Dr. Burton would tell you that I work hard all the time. I mean, I've been up since probably 7 a.m. this morning, running errands, doing all kinds of things. I never really take a day off because I absolutely love what I do anyway. So why would you take a day off if you love what you do anyway? But I love what I do, and I do work very hard. Thomas Edison, we all know who that is, right? Thomas Edison used to literally, he would work for weeks on end. And that was simply because he was so passionate about creating a light bulb. He loved what he did. He loved what he was doing. And he could just work because it wasn't hard work to him. He loved what he was doing. I'm the same way, man. I'll get up and work. I work 16, 17 hours a day. I think Brother Bailey would tell you that. And I sort of stay connected online a lot. But I work 16, 17 hours a day. Not because someone forces me to, Not because someone has to tell me to get up and go do it, but I absolutely love what I do. So it's not work to me. It's more like a lifestyle, so to say. I think Dr. Burton has heard me say that a couple of times. It's not really work to me. And I feel blessed because, see, I remember coming up with my grandfather. My grandfather, when he used to get out and work hard, he had to work hard with me. You see, now you look at my hands. They don't look like they've been working hard. I've been working hard with this. Ooh, see what I mean?
Uh-oh.
So, but you're going to have to work hard, no matter what it is. And mom and daddy can't make you do it, right? That boss that you see working at Chick-fil-A, he's not at your bedside saying, hey, it's time to get up and go to work, is it? No, you have to do it. You have to make a choice that you are going to get out there and work hard at whatever it is that you do. And I'm going to tell you the easiest way to do that is to find something that you love to do. Don't do anything that you don't absolutely love to do. I mean that. I'm telling you, don't settle for anything in life that you don't absolutely love to do. Now, my mom is a victim of this, okay? My mother, she worked for 20-something years at Haynes. You guys are familiar with Haynes here in town, right? She absolutely hated it. Absolutely. How do you go somewhere for 20-something years and hate it? Just because you think you need a job, right? So Sunday nights would come. I'm not joking. I'm not exaggerating either. Sunday nights would come, and my mother would literally be crying because she knew she had to go to work the next day. That's how much she hated it. And I told my mom one day, I said, look, why don't you just go to work and quit? Just quit. You don't like to do it. You're in pain. I'm certain your coworkers don't want you to come to work because they get tired of listening to you gripe all day. You see, they in pain, you in pain. Just quit. Quit. Because I believe that when you take a step forward like that, now I don't want to get too religious in here, but at the same time, I think when you take a step forward, God takes a step forward to you. But until you will take a step forward, until you walk out in faith, God won't make any moves towards you. So my mother quit. She quit her job. She called me up and, well, you ain't gonna believe it. I did it. I quit. Then she started crying. She said, I don't know what I'm gonna do now. I ain't got no job. Well, within about a week or two, my mom had a job at Pepsi here in town, making more money and doing something she absolutely loves to do now. Sometimes I go to my mom's house on the weekend. She's got work at home. She's working at home now. And they don't have to ask her because she loves what she's doing now. But don't get caught spending 20-something years in a place just because you feel like you have to have a job. Don't be afraid to just get out and live life, okay? So you're going to have to work hard, all right? Here's the other thing. Now, I'm telling you, I don't care how hard you work. I don't care what your grades look like. If you get out into life and you don't have any relationships, you will not be successful. You will not. My grandfather used to tell me all the time, and I used to have a little bit of an attitude coming up as a kid. I was real selfish and used to always think I could do things by myself, you know. My grandfather would always say to me, he said, Algenon, you can't live in the world by yourself. I didn't know what that meant then. You know, I could go back to doing my devilish little things there, but he said, Algenon, you can't live in the world by yourself. And as I got older, I started really, and that's what I want you guys to know today. You can't live in the world by yourself. It's not even designed for you to do that. It's absolutely designed against you being able to do that. Everything in life is connected. Everybody's connected. And you have to have relationships because sometimes it's not about what you know, it's who you know. A lot of times it's about that, actually. Now, don't get me wrong. If I give you an opportunity, you know me, I give you a job at my firm, you got to get in and perform. Because if you don't get in and perform, as quick as I gave it to you, that's as quick as it'll be gone, right? But the bottom line is you may get in to see me before another person gets to see me just because we have a relationship. That's all. That's all. I think Dr. Burton can speak to this, right? Sometimes it's just who you know and that ability to get behind that closed door because of who you know. Now, you still got to work hard and you still got to perform. You got to do all those great things, but you got to know somebody. You got to be connected. You got to have relationships. That's critically important. Brother Bailey and I have a relationship. We got connected on Facebook, out of all places. But he sent me a message, and eventually I sent him a message back. It took me a little while, but I did. And we started trading messages, and next thing you know, we were having a conversation. And that's how he got me here today. Because trust me, there's a lot more things I'd be doing on a Sunday afternoon if it wasn't for Brother Bailey calling me down here to be with you guys. And I don't believe, brother, you ain't got no check for me when I leave here, do you?
No.
I don't think so. You got no check sitting over there somewhere, do you? And it ain't even about that, because guess what? We have a relationship. There's times when Brother Burton will call me, Dr. Burton will call me and ask me to do certain things, or ask me to come meet with him. Whereas, and I think he knows this, and with certain other people that call me, I probably wouldn't do it. Because I'm busy, I got other things going on. But I'll stop what I'm doing and come down and see him. And it ain't about the deal. And it ain't about the money as much as we have a relationship. That's what it's about. And so he's able to ask me to do things. I'm able to ask him to do things. And then we're going through life and we're helping each other. We're supporting one another. We're supporting each other's mission. Right? You have to have relationships. It's critically important. Critically important. So like you folks that are getting ready to head off to college, I know you got a couple more years. Are you in college now, or? Okay. One of the things that I think a lot of college students make a mistake at, they don't do internships. Internships are really important if you want to build relationships. If you want to get out and meet people that's already out in the business world. Internships are great. So think about that. It sounds like you're doing a little bit, I listened to your comments, it sounds like you're doing a little bit of that now anyway through the party, through the Democratic Party. You're probably meeting a lot of people, right? And what I would suggest to you is when you get that business card, you want to hold on to those folks. Hold on to their name, their email address, their phone number. I am not joking. I'm not exaggerating here. If I met you in the last 10 years, I bet your phone number's in there. I don't erase any phone numbers. Not one. I don't erase any emails. You know, some people say, I just got a new phone. I lost all my numbers. That never happens to Algenon. Never happens to me. I ran into somebody downtown one day, and they was getting ready to give me their number, and I said, hold on. I put their name in. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. I don't get rid of my phone number. And not only that, when I meet you, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put your information in here, because I don't want to lose it, okay? Then I'm going to go online. I'm going to find you on LinkedIn. I'm going to find you on Facebook, because I want to stay connected. And then every now and then, I think Dr. Burton would attest to this too, you may get a phone call from me, even if we don't talk all the time. I may just call you and say, man, happy birthday. Saw today was your birthday. Just letting you know I'm thinking about you. It's not good enough to connect with someone. You have to build a relationship with them. And that means that you have to call them when you actually don't need something. You can't just call somebody when you need something and think you got a relationship. If the only time he called me was when he needed something, well, that would wear thin pretty quick, wouldn't it? I'd see his number coming out, oh, Lord, what do you want today? Put my phone back in my pocket. What do you want today? But that's not it, though. We've hung out. We've hosted things together. We got mutual friends together. So we built a relationship. Now, we got connected years ago, but we built a relationship deliberately and very purposefully over time. And you want to do that. Now, I'll say this one more thing on relationships before I move on. Be very strategic about getting to know people in the community. What do I mean by that? I don't do this as much as I used to because I'm blessed now. I've gotten to know a lot of people. I'm very thankful for that. But I'm going to tell you, I didn't always know people. Now, I'm going to tell you what I used to do. Don't tell nobody about the person because I won't say this out in public too much. This is what I used to do. I get the newspaper. And if I seen you in the newspaper or if I seen you in the business journal, I cut your picture out. And if you would have come to my house sometimes on the weekend back then, you'd see newspaper clippings all over the counter, all over the place. You might think I was a serial killer or something like that. What's this guy doing here? But now I cut your picture out, and I remember your name, and I remember a few things about you, because I knew one day I was going to see you out in public. Now you don't know me, but I know you. Or at least when we get in a conversation, I'm going to say a couple things that I probably don't read about you somewhere. Like, man, how did I know that? it has to be strategic. It has to be deliberate, right? You got to make sure you're getting out there meeting the right people. You don't want to just everybody. You want to know the right people. People that can get you to where you want to go. Especially you. You want to run for office? That's the relationship business. That's all that is. It's just a relationship business. Whether it's raising money for campaigns or serving in office, being able to do what you want to do, it's a relationship business. And you have to be very strategic and deliberate about how you go about doing that. It's very important. So, all right, so if you want to be successful, you got to work hard. You got to have good, positive relationships, strong relationships, right? Here's the last one, and this is the one I'm going to spend a little extra time on because this is the one that's the hardest for people to get sometimes. They keep attracted to here. You have to have strong self-discipline. What do I mean by that? Anybody know what self-discipline is? What's that?
Be able to make yourself attentive and focus on one thing.
That's right. That's right. See, successful people somehow know how to do things that other people don't want to do. And it ain't because I want to do it any more than they want to do. I don't like doing it either. But I can push myself to do it. It's called discipline, self-discipline. It's called not waiting on mom and daddy to make those choices and decisions for you, but you make good, positive choices on your own. You don't wait for someone else to do it. You don't wait for someone to tell you it's time to get out of bed. You don't wait for someone to tell you it's time to go outside and cut the grass. You don't wait for someone to tell you it's time for you to get that first job. You don't wait for someone to tell you it's time for you to figure out what your vision is. Self-discipline. Self-discipline. Now you need help, right? You need people that's going to guide you and mentor you and show you different ways and keep you away from the landmines and all these kind of things. But you have to, it has to come from in here. It has to come from inside of you. It's not outside of you. It's not an external thing. It's inside. See, I grew up in the church and actually, I was telling Brother Bailey, I grew up down here in New Jerusalem under Dr. Cornelius. And you know, he used to always talk, he always used to have me reading certain things. But, you know, when the Israelites came to, when they were exiting Egypt, and they came to the Red Sea, and they started to cry, and they started to scream, and they were in pain. And God reached down and he said, why are you in pain? Why are you crying? All my power, everything you have, everything you need is in that rod. In other words, what he was telling the Israelites is all the power that you need is inside of you. Everything you need to be successful in life, God equipped you with it on day one. You just haven't figured out how to use it yet. But it's inside of you. And so you got to spend some time with yourself. Sometimes we want to spend time with our friends. We want to spend time with our buddies. We want to be on those games. I used to play the games too. I know all that, right? But sometimes you just got, sometimes just sit, you need to sit quiet and spend time with yourself. Get to know yourself. How are you going to be successful outside of you? How will you be successful out there until you figure out how to be successful inside of you? How to start making choices and decisions that other people may not want to make. Not because you want to make them, because you have to make them. You know you have to make them. I'm going to give you some things that will help you be able to do this, okay? You can remember some of this. And I see Brother Stamps in the back writing, so maybe he'll share some notes with you guys after this. You know, if you want to be disciplined, you got to have a powerful vision. Now, see, God gave us something. We don't use it a lot. Now, I'm going to tell you, this little man uses what I'm getting ready to tell you. I know he does. I know he does because he's young. He's a kid. He uses it. Some of you guys have got older. Y'all don't use it anymore. Dr. Burton, he don't use it at all. He done with it. How many people know about imagination? You use your imagination? Sometimes you see things other people don't see. Yeah, I know. That's your imagination. And it's one of the most powerful things that God gave you. Seriously, it literally is a gift from God. And the reason why I know this, the reason why I say this, animals cannot imagine things. They cannot. That's a human gift. It's a human talent to be able to imagine things, to see something that's actually not there yet. It's extremely powerful. I'm going to tell you why. Doesn't matter what your current situation may be, no matter where you might be living, what you may be going through, what's going on in your house, what's not going on in your house. You can close your eyes and imagine things are different. You may say, well, husband, why in the world would I want to do that? Because that's how they start to become different. You have to see it here before you'll ever see it in real life. I'll prove it to you. Everything in life, everything, was created twice. What's that mean? Everything in life was created twice. Okay? What do I mean by that? If we go out here to this neighborhood right now, there's houses out there, right? Now, let me ask you, do you think maybe the contractor and all the subs, they just showed up with a bunch of building supplies and they said, well, hey, let's start building this house? Doesn't work that way, right? An architect sat down, imagined the house, put it on paper, created it on paper, put the instructions for what the contractor had to do when he got to the site. So that architect imagined it. He created it inside of here before it ever manifested itself out in real life. The very chair that Brother Bailey's sitting on, somebody had to see this chair before they started manufacturing. They had to see what it looked like. Would it sit? Would it sit the right way? What if I lean back? What if I do this? Everything in life is created twice. So if you want to be in office, you're going to have to see it here before it ever manifests itself in real life. You'll have to see yourself there. How do you think of Barack Obama in 12 years? He goes from state senator to being president of the United States of America. It's unheard of. Unheard of. But he had to see it here before that plan ever manifested itself. Trust me, what he did in that 12 years wasn't happenstance. Wasn't coincidence. That was strategic. He saw it here before it ever manifested itself. You want to be a basketball star? You better see it here before you'll ever see it out there on the court. You got to see it up here. And it's not just seeing it. You got to believe it. You got to believe it. So when you see it up here, you believe it. And when you believe in something, that means you already start acting like you already have it. So you don't wait to get in office before you start acting like you're in office. You start acting like you're in office today. When you walk up to people, you shake their hand like you're the President of the United States. Because if you start acting that way and you start believing it, it'll manifest itself. It's the only way it'll happen. And so successful people know how to do this. They have a powerful imagination. So even when things aren't going right day to day, because see, bad things happen to me, and I have bad days, and I cry, and I get upset, and I get mad, and I get frustrated. But the vision inside of my head is more powerful than what's happening around me. You see what I mean? That's why I'm able to keep choosing to keep moving forward. Okay? Gotta have a powerful imagination. Here's the other thing. You gotta understand, what your purpose is in life. Right? So what are you here to do? What are you here to accomplish? And I promise you, young man, that it ain't whatever you're here to do is not for yourself. It's not. God has put you here. I don't know what your mission is. I don't know what it is. Your mama don't know. Your daddy don't know. Brother Rucker don't know. Nobody knows. The only person that knows is God and you. That's it. That's how special it is. That's how special y'all are. But you're gonna have to spend some time with yourself. You're gonna have to go down inside of yourself. You're gonna have to start going into some areas you hadn't been before, some of them dark places, and checking out your emotions and getting to know yourself. And the more you get to know yourself, whatever that vision is, whatever that purpose is that God has in store for you, it will start to reveal itself. It'll start to reveal itself. It's like what we call self-discovery. That's what that's called. Self-discovery. And when you're not on purpose, we all know when we're not on purpose. You know how you know you're not on purpose? God gave you another gift. It's called conscience. That little voice in your head, you hear sometimes? Sometimes you listen to it, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you turn it off. Some of you older guys don't even work no more. They don't flip the switch off. They don't even hear it no more. It's an incredibly powerful gift from God. That voice inside your head will tell you when you know you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And you know it. You feel it all over. You feel it inside your stomach. You hear that voice. Come on now, you know you're not going to be over here with these folks. Don't go down there on that corner with the kid. Listen to the voice inside your head. Doesn't have conscience. doesn't have conscience. We do. So you have to use it. And that conscience will tell you when you're not on purpose, when you're off kilter a little bit. It'll bring you back into balance. You see what I mean? Here's the last thing you got to have. If you want to be successful, you have to understand what your values are. Okay? You got to understand what your values are. Now, sometimes we value the wrong things. We might value money, we value material items, cars and houses and things like that. Everybody in here has a friend or know a friend that values money. We all know that friend. When they got $100 in their pocket, happiest person ever to be around. They smiling. Let me take you to lunch. And when they don't have the money, the worst person to be around. All they doing is griping and complaining. They value the wrong thing. They're valuing something that changes. You see what I mean? See, money changes. I might have a few dollars a day, and tomorrow I may not have no money. I might make a lot of money this month, and next month I don't know what I'm going to do. See, that changes. Material items change. Cars break down. They go away. Houses get taken. We saw that many years ago. Material items change. But you got to value something that never changes. So that no matter what your circumstances might be day to day, you always focus on being successful because you have the right set of values. And whatever you value is what you're putting at the center of your life. I'm telling you. And we all know people in here that value the wrong thing. Some of us value other people. And that can be dangerous. When girlfriend, when she doing right, you happy. When you can't get on the phone, you sick. You can't value things that change. So what should you value? Here we go to this God thing again. God's given us some other things that we should be focused on. And they're things that don't change, okay? Things like honesty, justice, love, courage, sacrifice, working hard. Those are things that they don't change. And those are things that Brother Bailey doesn't have to validate for you either. If Brother Bailey came over here and told you that you should be dishonest, you don't have to go ask anybody else. It just sounds crazy, right? It sounds crazy. If he came over here and told you not to sacrifice for other people, it doesn't even sound right. It sounds crazy. If Dr. Burton came over here and told you not to love other people, it just sounds crazy. It doesn't even make sense in your head, right? But as I say it, it doesn't even register right. That's because the things that I just told you, the values I just gave you, they're from God. And they don't change. And it doesn't matter who's using it, or who's saying it, or what's going on, or whether you got a bank account with a bunch of money, or you're dead broke that day, or whatever's going on. Honesty, courage, justice, sacrifice, love, those things don't ever change. And if you'll put them at the center of your life, you'll be able to live a better life. All right? All right, this is how I want to close. If I take some questions, I think I'm about dead on with that. Because I've shared a lot here in the last 30, 40 minutes. But I don't think it matters if you don't necessarily have the context as to how I got here with y'all this evening. Okay? Now, Brother Bailey was shocked by something I was sharing with him over in the corner. I grew up right around the corner from him. Literally right around the corner from him. There used to be 3 houses on Liberty Street. Well, first of all, there used to be a little record boutique across the road. There's a little minute market that used to be up there. There was 3 houses back there. And there was a Zesto and a fish market. I know some of the older guys don't have them chuck wagons. Come on there and get one of them. Yeah, I know that. But it was 3 houses over there. That's where I grew up. That's where my grandmother lived. She lived there as long as I can remember. And the reason why my grandmother or my grandparents raised me is because when my mother had me, she was 17 years old. 17. And my father ran off immediately. I've only seen my dad one time in my entire life. Once. And it wasn't in person. It was when I came home from school one day, and my grandmother had the newspaper laying on the table, the kitchen table. And she came over here and she said, "Look at this." And I looked down and she said, "You see that man right there?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "That's your father." You want to know why he's in the newspaper that day? They let him out of jail by mistake. They was looking for him. That's why he was in the newspaper that day. So I never met my dad a day in my life. But I was incredibly blessed because I had two people, my grandparents, who took me in. And a lot of what I just shared with you all this evening wasn't anything that I came up with, it wasn't anything that I created, but this was literally years and years and years worth of work from my grandfather, just sowing good seeds inside me. And honestly, I think probably sometimes he was wondering if they were falling on good ground. He probably didn't know what was going on. But he kept sowing, kept sowing. And fortunately enough, those seeds were landed in the right place. They just hadn't sprouted yet. But eventually they did. But if it wasn't for my grandparents, I would be very, very different. Even growing up here on Liberty Street, I used to ride my bike through here, and I was telling Brother Bailey on Saturdays, man, my grandfather, we would go out, and he had one of them old push mowers, and we'd go house to house. And he asked, you need your grass cut? And they said yes. Then he goes sit down under that, down on one of them oak trees and start drinking sweet tea while we cut the grass. That's what we used to do. And we went and cut grass on Saturday. We would walk around picking up cans. You know, we picked up cans, take them up here to the recycle center. That's how we made money. And we went picking up cans. You know what my grandmother was doing at home? She was doing hair. Pressing hair. Y'all know about that, right? Pressing hair. That's what she'd do all Saturday morning. And she wasn't pressing hair, she was making cakes. And she wasn't making cakes, she was making pies. And she wasn't making pies, she was over at Zesta working. They were entrepreneurs, they didn't even know it. They didn't even know it. They didn't even know it. But those were people that I cared immensely about. And I'm going to tell you guys, we grew up poor. I mean, extremely poor. I remember, man, they used to take us up to fairgrounds. And that's where they gave all the food out. Government would come and give out the cheese, flour, sugar, peanut butter. Now I used to love, they give you the big tub, and peanut butter was just big. Big old tub. That was, man, it was. You know what I'm talking about. And we sit out on that front porch, and we be drinking sweet tea out them mason jars, eating peanut butter. Eating peanut butter. Good times for me. Big old blocks of cheese. About this long. I'm serious. And everything they gave you, everything was in a white box with black letters on it. No matter what it is. Now, if you like Frosted Flakes, it wasn't no captain on this boat, and it wasn't nothing lucky about these charms. When you got a box of cereal from them, it was a white box with black letters, cereal. That's it. And don't be into no nutritional facts, because if you flip the box around, it's going to say, go to the front of the box. We told you it's cereal inside. That's how I grew up. And so, yeah, I'm incredibly blessed today that I'm afforded to be able to live the way I live and do the kind of deals I do and all this kind of stuff. But what I want you guys to understand, it didn't just happen. Nobody gave it to me. I didn't wait around for it. I had to go out and take what I wanted. Okay? I had to work hard. I had to get to know people. That's your ring there. I had to work hard, I had to get to know people, and I had to develop an incredible self-discipline. Now, I'm going to close with this. I remember my grandfather, man, he would sit on this porch up here all the time. And we used to play this game sometimes. Police cars used to go up and down Liberty Street like crazy. Back then, I don't know if it's like that now, but it was like Coke. It used to be crazy. And we played this game where we would guess which direction the police car was coming from. We could hear it. We could guess which direction it was coming from. But I remember something one day my grandfather told me. He said, he used to say, Algenon, you can do anything that you put your mind to. And he used to tell me all the time. He used to say, I've gotten too old. He says, I might not make it out of here, but he says, you will. You will. And he used to always have me do something when I would sit with him. He would have me close my eyes, and he would have me imagine living in a different place, doing different things. That's a really good question. Honestly, like I said, I never knew I wanted to do this. When I was young, I actually wanted to go into computer science. I wanted to be one of those guys who was sometimes if you do things for the wrong reason, it won't work, okay? So, in the 90s, there was like what we call a technology boom, an internet boom happening. A lot of people was making money off computers. Bill Gates, Michael Dell, and all these guys, Steve Jobs, everybody making money. And here I am, growing up in East Winston. And so in my head, all I'm thinking about is how can I get out here and make some money? And I used to see these guys making money, so I thought, okay, well, that's what I wanted to do. But I got into it, and I wasn't passionate about it because I was in it for the wrong reasons, completely wrong reasons. And so I couldn't do well at it. So when I came out of school, I got fortunate, man. I knew somebody. And a buddy of mine, he said to me, he was working at UBS, which is a private wealth bank. And he said, man, why don't you come work with us? He says, I think you would like this. You know what I mean? Like he saw something in me that I didn't see in him. And he said, I think you like this. And I said, man, I don't think I can do it, man. I spent the last 4 years of school learning how to do this computer thing. Now you want me to go do something with you. He says, man, yeah, we'll try it. So he set me up with an interview. I remember he set me up with an interview with a guy that was his branch manager. I think his guy's name was Patrick. And I went and met Patrick. And long story short, he didn't hire me. He didn't give me a job. And where their offices are located, there's a bar down on the bottom floor. Don't do this. This isn't good for you. But when I didn't get the job, I actually went down to that bar and I was sitting down there. And I struck up a conversation with a guy next to me named Tom Dickens. And I was sitting there, I didn't know who Tom was, but I was sitting there talking to him. And we probably sat and talked for an hour and a half. And at the end of that, he said, what are you doing here? You know, why are you here? I told him about the job that I had to get upstairs. And he said to me, he said, well, I'm the managing director at Smith Party. He said, would you like to come interview with me? At this point, I ain't got nothing to lose, so I said, yeah. He said, you come in tomorrow. Come to my office upstairs tomorrow. And he said, I'm going to interview you, and we'll talk about getting you, get you in. He says, I might be running late. And you guys listen to this because this is important. He said, I might be running late. He said, no matter what, don't leave. I'll be there, okay? So, man, I get there the next morning. I got my tie extra tight. Okay? I'm ready. So I went in there. So I'm here to see Tom Dickens. And like behind the reception, she said, he's not in yet. But if you want to say I'm waiting for him, you can. I said, yeah, okay, great. About 5-10 minutes go by. Where he at? About 30 minutes, an hour go by. I go back up to the reception. I said, did Tom sneak in? Like, there's another entrance here? He said, no, he's just running behind. Just wait. A couple more hours go by. Now my tie started to get loose. Sweating out my shirt a little bit. So, literally, long story short, I don't know, it had to be 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon or something. And Tom comes walking in. He's playing golf. He had like a golf outfit on. And he walks in, he looks over. You still here? I said, yeah, you told me not to leave. I said, you told me. I said, I've been waiting all day. And he says, okay. He said, well, the interview's over. I said, it hadn't started. He said, well, today's interview is learning how to wait for people that are more important than you are. Tomorrow you start here. So that's how I got in. And Tom and I became real good friends, man. Like he was an older guy. He liked me for whatever. I don't know why he liked me for whatever reason. And he put me directly on his team. And I worked with him like hand in hand for about 2 years. And then I had the chance to leave and start Wharton Gladden. And then connected with Skip Brown, who you know. And almost the same, Skip, it's almost the same thing. And Skip, at the time, Skip had started his own bank. And people kept telling me that I needed to connect with Skip. So I didn't know how to connect with him because I didn't know him. But one day I just called him. And he happened to pick up the phone. And I was like, Skip, man, I know you don't know me, but people said I need to get to know you. Can I come sit to the office or whatever? He said, no. He said, well, let's just get breakfast this Friday morning. And he did. He met me and we had breakfast. And we hit it off. He took a liking to me. And at the end of that meeting, he said, look, I want you and I to get together for breakfast every Friday. He says, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you learn the business a lot more. Now, we didn't meet every Friday, but I swear, to this day, Dr. Burton knows, and to this day, about every other Friday, Skip and I meet for breakfast. It's been 10 years. But if it wasn't for him, if it wasn't for Tom Dickens, if it wasn't for my grandfather, if it wasn't
for all these things. That's a long-winded way of answering your question, but that's how I got it. And part of it too, man, was also my grandfather used to always remind me that you want your spirit to be open to God's direction. Like you never really want to be completely closed off. And if I was completely closed off, if I didn't listen to my buddy who suggested I should go do the interview, if I didn't sit there and have a conversation with Tom Dickens, it's a lot of things that if I wouldn't have done, you and I might not be standing there for you. You see what I mean? So you just gotta be very open. And a lot of times too, you gotta pray. I mean, my grandma used to have me do this all the time. She used to say, I want you to pray that God allows you to hear his voice. And that's powerful. And if you do those kind of things, man, everything I'm doing in life right now, I never really knew I was actually going to do. Even the political stuff I do. I mean, I do radio over 97 with Buster Brown and those guys. And I never thought I was going to be doing any of that, man. Buster and I was speaking at a gang prevention rally up here at Bloom Park one year. And Buster was there, and he and I connected, and he asked me to come to the radio station one day and jump on with him. It went well. He was like, well, you want to come back next week? I'm like, yeah, I'll come back. And next week, he's like, you want to come back next week? I'm like, yeah, I'll come back. Well, here we are 4 or 5 years later. He's still, you want to come back next week? Yeah, I'll come back, you know. So, I mean, a lot of things, man, I'm serious. A lot of things that I've been afforded opportunities to do wasn't necessarily because I was the smartest person or whatever. I mean, I'm just a hard worker. I know how to be in the right place at the right time, and I know how to get to know people. And once I get that opportunity, I'm going to go crazy with it. That's just me. Once I get the shot, I'm going crazy with it. So, I mean, that's just me, man. I always tell people, I may not be smarter than you, but I will outwork you. I will wake up before you wake up. I will go to sleep after you go to sleep. I will outwork you all day. That's a great question, man. Thank you. Any other questions? Or I don't want to keep y'all too long here, too. So, nothing from the young folks? Real young folks? See, you're just still trying to figure it out. I don't share too much with you today.
If you would, I'd like for you to mention about how important it is to be independent thinking and to be able to get along with everybody.
Yeah.
Regardless of